When was your earliest memory kind of as a human? Do you
That's an
remember?
interesting question. That's a therapy question right there.
Have you
I
you just
can't.
created a space
Yeah,
for me to walk.
you just created a big space for me to walk into.
Fail for you.
So thanks to the miracle of photography, I'm not sure which is my memory and which is a photograph that I've seen. But the
Mm.
first like live action thing that was not photographed that I remember was my fifth birthday. My mom told me later it was my fifth. And there was like you know, this is before you could spray paint, people's faces on birthday cake. So it was like this little carnival scene out of paper, and the candles caught fire. And so the whole thing kind of caught fire, and it was a big deal. What do you do? It smelled awful. Nobody wants to eat the cake. And I remember like that being, scary. But this is interesting. I was more scared by the way my mom was reacting than the fact the cake was on fire. I mean, the adults are here. The cake will probably not be on fire long, but it was frightening to see like an adult be frightened. So that's kind of my very earliest memory.
Yeah, that reminds me of growing up. If your kiddo fell down and scraped their knee,
Mm-hmm.
the way that you respond to that scraped knee is gonna more influence in the way they react to it than the scraped knee
Absolutely.
itself.
Yeah.
If you're freaking out, they're gonna start freaking out.
Or don't care. It'll be fine, darling. Stop. I want you to stop crying right now. It's like
Yeah.
all these different ways of reacting. You're not old enough to know what to do. It hurts.
Yeah.
When things hurt my body, water comes to my eyes. It's
Yeah.
like I'll cry.
There's blood. Yeah.
Right. But we're taught like how awful or insignificant or whatever those things
What
are.
kind of emotional response meets an action or
Right. Well,
something?
it's what emotional response meets with congruence or approval from your parents, which is everything. They control the food
They control
and the
yeah.
shelter.
You rely on them to survive.
Right.
So
And as a kid, you're hungry for information. Oh,
and love.
yeah. And you could and this is the most interesting part. Is that as a kid, even a really young kid, you're really good at sensing things that you can't understand, but you can tell. It's sort of like the parents finally reluctantly tell the children, ages 10, 12, and 8, that they're going to get a divorce. And all the kids are thinking like, and they're trying to inform this amazing thing that they didn't know about. And they're like, oh, that's why it sucked around here for so long. That's why mom and dad behaved in these certain ways. They didn't have the words for it and may not for quite some time. But kids notice, they are attuned to the emotional atmosphere. They want to know what's going on and how
Yeah.
you're supposed to respond.
The vibe.
Yeah.
And did your folks get a divorce?
They waited way too late. Yeah, they
They
did.
did.
They did.